Thank you, everybody. Good morning. So, today we are going to actually to speak about two topics. The first one is actually what I started yesterday to explain about bug bounty and the reason Orange it's supporting this this program for the first time in Romania and on the operator side, on the telecom side. And the second topic is about innovation labs. And here I wanted to ask you, how many of you are familiar with innovation labs? Please raise your hand. So, not so many. Good. This means that we have a good topic for today. We will start first with an introduction about, let's say, the moments in our life and, let's say, the interfaces, the interactions with the cybersecurity. And here, I'm pretty sure that you are quite aware about the places in which you are accessing the public hotspots, the Wi-Fi, which could be public hotspots, could be private hotspots, home hotspots, personal hotspots, mobile electronic commerce. It's a hot topic in which cybersecurity is an important enabler. Then for sure, the public sector, governmental applications, which needs a strong security mechanism behind and a strong support from all the industry players. Then in terms of education, here modern education today should be based on a clear and strict rules in terms of security. And coming to the enterprise sector, to the business sector, you are all probably familiar, the people which are working are from multinational sector, from companies which are already introducing or they introduce the bring your own devices. They have their own system inside, probably the integration with the intranet, with the, let's say, the people which are working remotely. So it's very important to have a secure connections and a way to allow the people to have a mobile working space. Then for sure, this kind of events, conferences, special events, which needs to be secured. Not necessarily that we are here on the DefCamp, which should be highly secure, not only secure. And for sure, the connected Internet things. We saw the contest on the IoT Village. And today, actually, in terms of approach on designing the security solution, it's very important to assess the, let's say, the volume of the data, the type of the devices, the type of the technologies, the user behaviors that we are facing not only in Romania but also in the world. And here, just some of the figures that we at Orange we are, let's say, considering in the engineering phase when we are designing a product, being for the security or just for the communication, for an IPVPN or for the, I don't know, for a Wi-Fi type of solutions. So we are relying on some facts, some figures, and here are just a couple of them. So from our statistics, 58% of the citizens in Bucharest are using the internet daily, mobile or fixed. At the world, so in the world, 1.5 billion smartphone users. So this is today, and for sure this will increase. 4 times more Wi-Fi traffic. I don't know if this is probably something that we expected or not. More Wi-Fi traffics in the world than the cellular one. Still capture on the Wi-Fi part. Then something interesting. Okay, probably you are in this situation. You are going in a retailer, in a shop, in a mall. You want to buy something. You need to check some prices to compare the prices, and you are using the hotspot there. And on the company side, on the company level, okay, 61% of the employees, for sure, they want a mobile working space. They want the companies believe that the cloud can improve their agility. So 63%. So all these figures actually are important to be considered in the design phase before to start building any pieces of security solutions or a security applications. Okay, in terms of enterprise sectors, what Orange did actually in the first half of this year, we did a survey in Romania on the, let's say, the medium and large companies. And what we found out is that less than a quarter of the companies interviewed believe they face a cybersecurity risk. So this means that probably they're perceiving that they don't have any security at all. So this is on the CIO level. So 30% do not secure their Wi-Fi network at all. 43 do not scan the traffic for malware. 50% they have no application control systems. And going so, okay, no DDoS protection, do not employ two-factor authentication for the VPN connection. We just mentioned about the mobile workers. Okay, at Orange, we started already a process to build, we can call it a bulletproof solution on the business internet security, so for the companies. The contest that we supported in the last couple of weeks, together with DefCamp, was actually meant to increase the accuracy of the solution, being on the hardware level, on the configuration level, the architecture level. And this is not all. So when we are speaking about building a product, building an architecture behind the product, behind the services, there are actually it's not only the, let's say, the engineering minds from inside the company, from Orange or from our partners. We saw yesterday that I came with Fortinet, our partners, on the bug bounty contest. But it's also important to take also some feedback, some fresh ideas from the young generation. And here, bringing in the topic the startup concept. And this is the reason that I asked you initially about the Innovation Labs. Because from Innovation Labs, which is a pre-accelerated program, 3 months pre-accelerated program, in which Orange is partner, so it's not managed by Orange, it's managed by TechLunch, which is an ONG from Romania. So we are bringing new ideas, fresh ideas, not only on the cybersecurity part, but also on the other businesses, like retail, like agriculture, like e-health. So for us, 2 programs which are important in this moment for building a product, assuring that the product can become bulletproof in terms of security, but also creating new revenue stream for us is Innovation Labs. And the first one, Orange Bug Bounty, is what we already started with this concept, with this DefCamp, and we really want to go more and to have periodical challenges inside this Orange Bug Bounty program. I will speak now about Innovation Labs because I've seen that this is something which is not so aware on your side, and then I will turn back to Orange Bug Bounty reason what we are doing and actually how we are continuing this. So Innovation Labs, I mentioned that it's a 3-month startup, it's a 3 months pre-accelerator, which is actually taking an idea and the team of couple of people from 2, 3, up to 5 people, from an idea to prototyping and going up to the most viable product, which is actually a prototype that can be tested in a real life. And here the real life, it's actually with the real customers. So when you are seeing here the idea, it's okay, what they are bringing in, and here the start of this contest, it's starting actually with a hackathon, which is a 24-hour coding phase, exactly like the contest that just finished now. It's just that it's for building an idea, for building a prototype. Okay, then it's about 3 months of mentoring and tech talks, and for sure it's a boost day and a demo day at the final, in which the investors, not only Orange but also the partners from the program, and here you have the 3 main partners. So together with us in this program managed by TechLunch, it's also Carrefour and the Romania American Foundation. Behind us there are also other partners like IXIA, which is also one of the sponsors today. So actually we are taking the ideas and the teams which are producing this. We are taking from this program. We are going through the mentorship phase. We are opening our network infrastructure. We are opening our API. So not only Orange, but also the high-tech partners. I mentioned IXIA. It's also Cisco together with us. So we are bringing also the enablers to them. And then we are trying to expose this type of solutions to our customers and to see the feedback and then to fine-tune the process. And at the end, we can have a successful product or application that can be integrated in Orange portfolio or the other partners' portfolio. So in terms of benefits for the high-tech ecosystem, for sure that one of the reasons we are doing this, it's to attract young people to the entrepreneur side. Then to try to teach how to think in terms of products, in terms of marketing, not only in terms of technical parameters. And for sure, to bring some product management skills and some experience. This is the reason for the tech talks and for the mentorship programs. And again, to increase the number of startups, to increase the ecosystem in Romania. Because this is a program which is, I didn't mention before, it started in Bucharest, now it's also present in Cluj-Napoca, and next year, Innovation Labs 2060 actually will bring the program also in Sibiu and probably in Iași. This is the figures and the statistics from this year. The program has, so it was between 1st of February and the end of May. With the start, the hackathons, it was in Bucharest and in Cluj-Napoca. We had more than 200 registered participants, which form around 54 teams, 73 ideas pitched. So 30 teams in the program, meaning in the 3 months of the accelerator programs, because before this accelerator program, in the hackathon, we had the 54 teams. Then at the end of the program, we remain with 24 products, 24 beta or alpha solutions and the product. Here we have some, I will open a movie just to see the experience from the demo day. So the demo day was the end of the program in which they presented their solution.
For being here to watch these incredible young guys and girls present their projects on stage.
What matters for us musicians is to have our own custom sound.
We transform the consumer into the creator.
And we realize that people would like to live a healthier lifestyle and get in shape.
The team that organized all this on stage.
Okay, so this was just the last phase of the program, Innovation Labs 2015. The program was also seen from different social networks, a lot of advertising around him. You can check the old programs, because the program started actually in 2013. Orange joined the program in 2014. So for the next year, we are preparing for the 3rd edition. Okay, what is the link actually with the cybersecurity and with you? One of the team actually from this year, from the last contest, called Coda Intelligence, proposed a solution for the companies on the security side to secure their So to secure their business environment. So the product designed to automatically discover the critical services and monitor their security footprints over the time, and also sending alarms to the administrator. Actually, one of the founders won this Capture the Flag contest 2 years ago. I don't know, probably some of you are already familiar with this team. And inside the Innovation Labs this year, they got also some finance, some cash, which they use it, they spend it to develop the product, to bring it in the last phase, actually the phase for the proof of concept, in which they started, and I guess now they are in the middle of this proof of concept. And here, if you are interested about his experience, about the team experience, about how they did it, I invite you to discuss. Cristi Sandescu from Coda should be somewhere here. From, no? Okay. So please, after this, you can ask him about the experience. So actually, this is one of the link between the two programs. So it seems that it's possible, being a hacker, a white hacker, I don't know, a geeks on this, to also jump in the entrepreneur side, in the startup side, and to bring a product from the ideas to the proof of concept, and probably to have a successful business. Then, in terms of new program, Innovation Labs 2016, what we are preparing. In terms of tracks, we see that on the health side and on the lifestyle, we need somehow to keep this, because this was also, the lifestyle was also present in the track for this year. Then the retail, we have Carrefour, and we keep this track. Then it's a new track, agriculture. Why? Because one of the partners, the Romania American Foundation, is very keen to this topic. And for sure, cybersecurity. And behind this, what I mentioned, as the partners, we are opening our infrastructure. We are supporting in terms of mentorships, in terms of bringing the right teams, or the teams which are on these tracks, to our customers, the customers which are willing to test such solution and to validate the concept. So this is probably the most important fact in all this program. In terms of timeline, I mentioned that if you are interested, you can check the site, the innovationlabs.com. The open registration will be beginning, probably somewhere beginning of February next year. We just started together with Tech Launch the teasing phase. Then the hackathons, Bucharest, Sibiu, Cluj, will be in March. And I mentioned Iași. We are now trying to see if we can find a way also to jump this in, to bring this in Iași. Then the Tech Talks with all the entrepreneurs from industry will be in all these 3 months of the program. Workshops, mentorship workshops. There's the Boost Day. We have the Boost Day at the middle of the program. Actually, what we are looking with the Boost Day is to see the progress of the solution. And some of the participants, some of the teams usually are not quite okay on the Boost Day, and then they are pivoting to another ideas just to bring a successful product on the demo day, which is the final day. So on the hackathons, what will happen actually? We are estimating for the next contest around 95 teams to enter in the hackathons in the 3 cities for the moment. So 95 teams pitching for 1 minute. This is beginning of the weekend, Saturday in the morning. Then we are judging, so it will be a crowd voting, 50% of the points, and then jury selections. And then we will remain with 70 teams which will enter in the 24 hours hackathons. At the end of the hackathon, Sunday, the morning, 5 minutes, each team will do a demo in front of the jury, and a 3 minutes pitch. At the end, we are estimating to have around 34 ideas, 34 teams, which will enter in the 3 month program, going to all the phases that I mentioned before, which are actually tech talks with people from industry, from multinational, from startups, entrepreneurs, speaking about business, about marketing, about IT, about how you can bring a product from an idea to a successful development, to a successful deployment. Then we have the mentorships. And what I mentioned, Boost Day, a demo day at the final. Okay, so this was with the Innovation Labs and the link with the with the cybersecurity environment and the security researcher community. Now turning back to the Orange Bug Bounty, which is the program that we kick off with the occasion of the DefCamp. I mentioned yesterday the reason Orange is actually sustaining this program. It's very important to have multiple eyes looking to the solution that we are developing. It's very important to use the available resources, which are part of you. So you practically, the researcher, the security researcher, the ethical hackers community. And this is one of the reasons that we are sustaining this. And for sure that behind this, we are also reinforcing the responsible disclosure in terms of vulnerability identification, because that is the most important part, is actually the difference between doing something good and doing something bad. And we are not alone in this quest. In the world, so there are programs and there are top companies which are sustaining this type of approach, this type of bug bounties contest, and they are working with hackers. And here you have just few of the companies from probably the online sector more, but also in the software development. And for sure that even today, so the figures are from the side from the corner, and I took it last night. And today, this is the situation yesterday, 130 programs, public programs open on the bug bounty sector. And if you are doing the maths, it's more or less 100 bugs discovered per program, which is quite relevant. And also the amount of money spent, and also the Wall of Fame, which is increasing. It's quite interesting. And if you are going on the pages of these guys, on the website, you can find there an acknowledgement, bug bounty acknowledgement, or bug bounty Hall of Fame. You will find a lot of Romanian. Probably some of them are here with us in this room. So, what I mentioned, this is just a recap. We had 2 weeks of bug bounty. We received 95 participants were registered. 15 participants managed to score, so to send reports. 112 reports received by us and by our partner, Fortinet. 71 validated. And this was more or less the base points for the award. Yesterday, we also had the ceremony to give the prize, the awards to the top 3 contenders. And actually, it's my pleasure to invite here the first 2, Ionuț Cernica and Cătălin Irimie. They will, I asked them to share some feedbacks, share some view from what they did, how they did it, the reason they participated to this contest, if they have some advices for you. So I will ask you, no? Who will be the first? I will. Okay. So. Okay.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Cernica Ionuț, and today I'm going to share my experience with app-to-own bug bounty So I will start again. So my name is Cernica Ionuț, and I'm going to share my experience with the app-to-own bug bounty program in a short presentation. Okay, a few words about me. I'm a security engineer. I used to participate in bug bounty programs like Facebook, like Google program. I'm also a CTF player. I used to play in a lot of CTF games. The agenda for today, I'm going to speak about my motivation, how hard it was to find all these security problems. I will give an example of a successful attack, how I discovered, how I managed to discover this attack, and some conclusions in the end. My motivation was to help to improve the security of web application firewalls. It's very important to have the security of this software very accuracy. Another motivation was my curiosity, because I'm a very curious person to see how the things works, and in the end to learn something about how that thing worked. How hard it was? So first of all, I saw that the firewall managed to block very well the SQL injections and cross-site scripting. Then other vulnerabilities were not so very well managed like the other ones, but they had very good protection, and it was pretty hard to exploit them. Okay, so I'll start with the first example of successful attack, SQL injection, how I managed to find some SQL injections. I don't know the number right now, but I think it was 5 or 6. I don't remember, sure. How I managed to find such security problems that hit direct into the web applications. First of all, I managed to send requests one at a time, union select to the web application to find out what is blocked by the firewall. So then some functions or operators like sub-str, mid, char, and I did this to find out what is blocked and what is not, and make a whitelist with what could help me to develop attacks that hit direct into the web application. So the firewall will stop payload as such as union all select or union select something from a table. The web application firewall will recognize when I'm using functions like sub-str, mid, or benchmark. Would recognize when I would using string equals another string, or I don't know, column equals a string. Would recognize if I try to comment the rest of the payload, and I can't use instead of space carriage return or new line. Okay, so how I managed to find the successful attacks? I tried to bypass each problem, like I can't use spaces. Okay, so I tried to find something that replace that space. So I read something about some obfuscation techniques from a presentation at Black Hat by Rodriguez, and he found that E0 replaced that space. I used it to make an attack, and it was successfully. It worked successfully, and it hit the web application. So the first payload I sent was that one on the slide. Another successful attack was to find a way to compare two strings. Like I couldn't use column equals string. I used column like string. It was very easy, this one. Or I can use to replace the string with the hex representation. Instead of A, I would use 0x61. 61 is the ASCII hex representation of A. So and the comment I used the hashtag to comment the rest of the payload, the SQL payload. Then I made a list of all operators from MySQL, operators that works with strings, and it was a huge list. And the operators that hit direct into the web application was the ones from the slide. So they are important operators. You can extract data from the database. You can use anything from there. You can make combinations to extract data from the database. Cross-site scripting. So I use some same techniques as SQL. I was starting to looking for tags that weren't blocked by the web application firewall. I managed to find some tags. I made then I was needed to get some event attributes that it weren't blocked by the firewall, and I found a list of them. Some of them doesn't help me because it implies user interaction, but some not. And here's an example. So I used the tag video, that it wasn't blocked. I managed to find it in the first step here. Then I use it with an event attribute, like onCanPlay, okay? So onCanPlay will take a value, a JavaScript code. I obfuscate it with GG encode, Japanese encode. So what is written on the slide is an alert in JavaScript. And I ended with the source from an FTP server because HTTP it wasn't allowed because it was blocked by the firewall. So the conclusions. I think the companies should start to support these kind of initiatives because it helps to improve the software security. Lots of researchers should take part on this contest because they have to learn a lot of things. You should treat all the cases when you're blacklisting a list of operators. Like, I mean, the firewall should treat all the cases from all aspects. And I think the community knowledge would help to improve the security, and these kind of initiatives should take place more in our take place more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ionuț. So I will invite Cătălin.
Hello everyone, my name is Cătălin Rimie and I have participated in the App2On contest. I have ranked second, and today I'd like to talk to you about my experience in the contest and what are some of my recommendations. First of all, a few words about me. I'm 17 and I'm in the last year of high school. In my spare time I like to improve and learn things about one of my passions, IT security. That was the reason why I have participated in the App2On contest. So, what was exactly my experience? Well, first approach, after a recon phase, I found out that there were 4 platforms, outdated, which had a lot of vulnerabilities, but they were firewalled because the vulnerabilities were kind of easy to find, but the firewall was blocking most of the attacks. So we had to bypass the firewall. An interesting thing that I found was that programmers' mistakes actually make it worse for the firewall to block the attacks. For example, one programmer thought that it was a good idea to URL decode the input, so I could double URL a payload and it would bypass the firewall. A few examples of my attacks. The first one is about getting access to the server by uploading a shell. After trying many things, most of the alternatives to execute some PHP code were filtered, like the PHP open tags, and I couldn't manage to execute it somehow else. I found that the short tags for PHP were not filtered by the firewall, but there was a problem. The firewall, the PHP config file, has set them off, so we couldn't execute PHP by using them. But I remembered about notorious PHP thing that the short tag for PHP echo works even if short tags are off. So we could basically use this and send a payload. We could use something that bypassed the firewall. That was something like eval the hex decode of a request. And we could basically do many things from here. Like, for example, a remote command execution. After uploading the shell, we could send the request with the hex of a system command and the command which would be executed as the Apache user. Another interesting thing that wasn't firewalled was that I could create a reverse shell by using this remote command execution. For example, I used this Python script. Of course, I could use Perl or something else, but this worked for me, so I used it. And we got a reverse shell. Another interesting example of an attack. This was a more creative one because I wanted to do something creative. Not so common way to get any type of file on the server, like uploading malware or any type of stuff. We could use a fake DNS server and give the base64 of the malware to the DNS key, which would of course limit to 65,000 bytes, but we could do this and append to the malware as many times as we needed. On the vulnerable server, we parse the dig request to our fake DNS server, which got the DNS key, which was the base64, append it to the malware, and in the end, decode it. And there was our final malware. My remarks about this competition were that it was challenging. There were new things to learn, and this is helpful for all the security researchers or anyone passionate about IT security. This is a great way to learn new things and challenge yourself. Also, I saw that it is very hard to filter everything, but at least we can filter 99%. About the importance for participants, as I said, it is a challenging way to learn things and keep up with new methods in IT security. Also for organizers, it's a great way to get a preview for their infrastructure, for their security, and to improve it. So they would not lose some data to hackers. Thank you.
Thank you, Cătălin. Thank you. So what I didn't mention before is that Cătălin and also Ionuț, they are in the same team and they just finished the Capture the Flag contest, so they are coming here after 24 hours. So, okay. Just takeaways from this presentation. I mentioned about the orange bug bounty, the reason we are doing this, and we can confirm you that we will continue to do this. And here probably will be also in a control environment like this. And stay tuned. Check the site, check DefCamp site. And why not try to think about a little about joining one of the accelerator programs. Innovation Labs is not the only one in Romania. But as I just presented you, it was a kind of teasing the next program for the 2016. You can check the website. You can also come in our stand. I can give you more information about this, and we are happy to answer all of your questions if you have now or during the break. Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Are you curious to find out? Yep.
Are there any plans for a long-term bug bounty program, like the ones Facebook has or, I don't know, Google has?
Yes, thank you. So this is what I try to highlight, that this, what we did here, we are very, let's say, happy and proud, and actually we are thanking also the organizer that helped us with the part of the infrastructure, and also our partner, Fortinet. And this is what we are considering this moment, to have this kind of program at least 2 times per year. So one probably with the DefCamp next year, and another one probably will be in the during the spring. But this is again, sorry, just to add, this is should be linked, at least in our case, this was linked to the product definition and the way we have fine-tuning the configuration before to launch the service on the market. And each time we will have this kind of, let's say, upgrades of the solution or a new product. We'll try to put this kind of contest in place.
Okay. I was thinking more in a program, continuous program, if you know what I
okay,
mean.
Understood your point.
For the products that are already on the market and also for the products that are coming next.
The contest was more on the solution behind it's on the enterprise side. It was called Business Internet Security. What are you asking is if we are doing also this, or we will think to do this also for the B2C probably project, right? Yeah, we will consider this, but today we are only focusing on the enterprise. This is also linked to the Innovation Labs and to the startups. Thank you.
Hello, I'm really impressed from what you did the last year. And I'm interested, did you have any international participants on the program, and what's the vision to incorporate, let's say, the nearby countries also in the contents, or you prefer to keep it local? And because we're from Bulgaria, a team which comes especially for the event. So I'm interested, is it closed only for the Romania, or you are open for foreign participants in the program too?
Okay, so can you? Okay, so yesterday actually, unfortunately, we didn't have all this presence, but we presented the statistics from the contest. Actually, the platform was open for everybody, and in terms of international audience, okay, Romania was on top, but we had also participants from other countries. So the answer is yes, we have it open.
Yeah, the question was, it's going on English, so there is no barrier from the...
No, everything was in English, everything was available on the website. It was an additional link from the DefCamp. It's just that probably was not so properly communicated before.
Yeah, okay, we're going to bring the news when we get back about what you're doing here. Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Yep.
Are you also going to open up the Orange infrastructure to the bug bounty? And in addition to that, for the bug bounty programs, are you going to provide some rewards like all the other players do?
So what are you looking in terms of opening all the infrastructure? Which part or which, because we opened it actually. This was a control environment. It was not a live traffic. It was just to test our architecture and to fine tune it after. But
you know, like Facebook does, or PayPal, or you name it, as long as you're playing nice, they let you test the live infrastructure.
Okay,
and
well,
of course,
it's the same question like probably, so we are considering also this part, but okay, opening all the infrastructure, it's not quite.
Yeah, I'm not saying about your internal infrastructure. I'm mainly talking about the services that you have open to the internet, because those are probed on a daily basis by the attackers. And of course, our data is on your side, so we need to make sure that you step up the game as the attackers do, especially now as we have a large number of APT groups, and that's constantly growing. And of course, you're a target.
Sure. So I mentioned about the responsible disclosure. I mentioned the control environment. We have to do this in a let's say control environment, because we have to know who is behind the laptop, the computers, and this is the idea. In terms of opening all the infrastructure or part of the infrastructure, we just started with this, and we are analyzing now in which other parts of our network, of our applications, of our systems, or our partners solution that are working with us, we are thinking where and when to come with this, and for sure this will be properly communicated by us.
All right. And
in terms of awards, I mentioned that yesterday it was this ceremony, but it's depending what are you looking actually.
Well, that depends on you.
So
we could step up the game and say, yeah, if you want a remote code execution in orange.ro, well, that's going to cost you 5,000 or 10,000, and I'm not talking about Ron. But that's
this kind of awards. This kind of awards would suit you. I mean, to have a place in a Hall of Fame or acknowledgement, is it not enough, or you need more?
For the highly skilled people in the IT security segment, I don't think that's enough, because they spend their own time in discovering the nitty-gritty tricks and exploiting your infrastructure. So if you match an APT group that spends hundreds of thousands of dollars to attack you and to get our data, with how much do we earn? Somewhere between 2,000 and 10,000 euros per month. Well, you need to set the balance right.
I understood your point. So we are here, as I said, it's the first time for us. We are learning this. Honestly, this is probably a contest that, okay, we plan it, we manage it in 2-3 months. So we will consider this for the next stage. And I understood that this is important also for the researcher which are participating. It's a time that it's consumed in this activity. It's not only in this contest in this DefCamp, or for sure that we will consider it. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think there aren't any other questions.
Okay, so again, if you have additional questions, we are waiting you in the stand. Thank you.
Thank you.